Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the webinar, How to Kick Off Your Campaign with a Rally. We're broadcasting live from our webinar studio in Dover, New Hampshire, and I just wanted to go over a few quick things before I turn it over to the students to really give the presentation this afternoon. So first off, we have our contact info. So this is Dana Mitchell's information. Feel free to reach out to him, email him, call if you have any questions. We're definitely available after the webinar. In the email that you received with the link to join the webinar today, you should have received a handout as well. So we'll be referring to that throughout the presentation, and there are some really good resources there after the webinar is over to take advantage of. Secondly, if you are a toolkit owner, you don't need to have your toolkit with you today, but there are additional resources there as well that you can take advantage of. In terms of the software that we're using, GoToWebinar, the system's not currently supporting videos, so we had some videos that we were going to play, and we decided that since the system's not allowing it, we're going to upload them to our website after the webinar. So as a follow-up, we'll send you an email with where you can view those videos so that you can really get a good picture with sound and visuals and everything of what some of our rallies look like. And the last point is about questions. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to type them into the question or chat box. And Stephanie is sitting at the control panel. She'll let us know when you guys have questions, and we'll have time at the end for questions as well. So to get things started, I just want to hit on a couple of the goals. So we're going to be talking about planning a rally to kick off your event. And in today's webinar, we're going to provide a quick overview of what youth empowerment is, describe the role that a rally or an informational demonstration plays in your efforts, describe how to plan or organize a rally, and provide detailed descriptions of some of the elements, the common elements, and give you some examples of some of the rallies that we've conducted. So Dover Youth to Youth is a youth empowerment program that focuses on a model of knowledge, skills, action. So first, our students learn about the problem, they then develop skills, and then they turn that knowledge and skills into action. So when the students typically take action, they're taking action in 4 areas. And I'm going to turn it right over to the students here today to talk about what they do.
So we're all from Dover Youth to Youth, and Dover Youth to Youth is an after-school drug and alcohol prevention program. We have about 70 members, and they're all from grades 6 through 12. And our members are placed on different teams, and each team does a variety of their own projects.
So one of our areas of action is media. We've done over 100 radio PSAs, and we've done 3 broadcast quality video PSAs that we played on an ABC affiliate channel during the Ellen Show.
Another area that we take action in is policy change. So we do a lot of policy change efforts throughout the year, including changing a store's policy. We also do city ordinances and state laws. In fact, we've proposed and passed 7 city ordinances and 3 state laws, including our most recent city ordinance that makes it illegal to smoke e-cigarettes where all cigarettes are already banned or prohibited.
So another way we take action is through doing a variety of presentations. So one presentation that we do is our Samantha Skunk presentation. So I'm sure many of you might be familiar with this, but if you're not, I'm just going to quickly tell you what that is. So Samantha Skunk is our medicine safety presentation that we do in full body costumes, and we do that to our youngest audience. To our older audiences, we go into schools and we do assemblies on tobacco and alcohol use, and we also go out of state to teach advocacy skills to other groups.
So another area of action is community awareness projects, and a really simple example of this is our sticker shock that we do. Sticker shock is when we go to grocery stores in our town, and with their permission, we plaster all the beer cases with stickers, and we try and promote a message to reduce underage drinking.
We also do some more longer-term community awareness projects or campaigns. These occur usually over a longer period of time, usually a year or more, and they focus on a single core message or a set of very related and comparable or compatible messages. We use a variety of ways of getting our message of it out, such as awareness projects in a school, radio PSAs, or presentations. For example, with our BRAIN campaign, our message was that alcohol and youth don't mix, alcohol affects all parts of your brain, and that alcohol can help teens make the dumbest decisions of their lives. So we took these messages and turned them into PSAs, different presentations that we gave to multiple different places, and we had a new sticker for our Sticker Shock campaign.
So in the BRAIN campaign, we started it off with a press conference, or you could also do for your own campaign a rally, and rally is what we're going to talk about today.
So now we're just going to quickly explain to you what a rally is. So a rally is a large gathering of activists and interested citizens who share a common message, and they both want to communicate that message to the public.
So a rally could be a protest demonstration, but just because it's a demonstration doesn't necessarily mean that it's a protest.
For example, here in Dover, we often do informational demonstrations. And an informational demonstration is used to inform or educate the public about the message that you're promoting.
You can also use a demonstration as a way to kick off your campaign, or you can do that with a rally.
So regardless of the type of rally that you're holding, the first step in getting started is determining the message that you want to communicate.
So as Emma was saying, you can't really have a campaign without having these core messages. And these core messages are really what you're communicating to the public. For instance, if you were creating a campaign, if you go to the next slide, on underage drinking, then what's your message about underage drinking? So your message can't be something that's really broad and something that you can't really accomplish, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. So your message can't be a statement such as, we are against alcohol, or we are against smoking. It instead has to take a stance on one of these topics. So we wanted to reduce underage drinking, and so we created a campaign called the BRAIN campaign, and here's one of our Sticker Shock, and it says, alcohol affects all parts of the brain, and when it comes to gray matter, it all matters. So that was one of our main core messages of the BRAIN campaign.
So there's several logical steps that you can follow when developing your own message.
The first step to develop your message is to decide what your goal is, or what you're trying to accomplish with this message. As you can see on the next slide, we have an example of our fridge campaign Sticker Shock sticker, and so we tried to decide, like, what's our main goal, or what are we trying to accomplish with these stickers? And it was to reduce underage drinking.
The second step is to determine your target audience, or who you're trying to influence most, or who you expect or at least hope will change their behavior due to what you've made. For example, on the PowerPoint, there's a poster that says, "Is your liquor locked?" So this is targeting parents. The parents are the target audience because they're hoping the parents secure their alcohol and change their behavior.
And our next step in developing your message is to decide what your strategy is. Now this is a little bit more complicated, but in general it's just, why will your message cause someone to change their behavior? So it's really that why piece of it. So there are multiple different kinds of strategies, including counter-advertising, and we do have a webinar coming up on that in February if you'd like to learn more.
The fourth step is to determine a theme or icon for your campaign that people can identify with. For example, in our fridge campaign, we used the symbol of a refrigerator that you can see right now that people can identify with, that we built our entire campaign around. We kind of branded our message with this ideal, and we had on posters all of those, all of those different things. We also did the same with the BRAIN campaign, except we used the picture of, or the idea of, a brain that we used in multiple different ways to get our message really out there. Same thing with the Truth campaign. We used a large magnifying glass, we had it on the palm cards, and also made large visuals of magnifying glasses. And finally, with the Don't Target Youth campaign, which was trying to let people be aware of how the tobacco industry uses candy flavorings in their tobacco, we used big targets because based off the name.
So going through these steps is really useful because it allows your entire group to be on the same page about the substance that you're talking about, but also about the core messages that you're sending to the public.
So once you've established your goal, your target audience, your strategy, your theme, and all of your messages have been developed, you're ready to kick off your event.
So most cases, you're going to want to pick a launch date for when your activities will start happening, and you can often start it with a kickoff event or a rally.
So your kickoff event doesn't necessarily have to be at one certain point throughout the year, but it could coincide with another activity or an event such as a drug take-back day, Red Ribbon Week, or even a town hall event.
So groups like ours often have their kickoff at the beginning of the year so that they have the rest of the year to work on the campaign.
So components of a kickoff event will usually vary. You'll come up with your own creative thoughts, but our kickoff events, for example, have some very common elements that you may want to put into yours also, that we're going to go over right now.
The first thing that you really need to decide on is your location of your rally. This is extremely important to take into consideration the time of year that you're rallying and also the weather. So also when you're picking a location, you want to make sure that you get permission or get a permit for being on whatever property that you're on. So if you are on a private property, you'd want to get permission from the owner. And if you were on state-owned or city-owned land, you would want to make sure you had a permit for that. This is extremely important because if you get kicked out in the middle of your demonstration, it's really distracting to your messages.
So another key part in getting your message out is by inviting the press. So often a campaign will start off with some kind of announcement to the press about a press conference. And we're going to tell you exactly how to get that organized a little bit later.
So in the remainder of this section, we're going to provide very specific instruction on the implementation of the actual rally and the common components that go into it.
So in our rallies, we use large visuals a lot, and they're really great because they grab people's attention and get people to notice, especially when they're walking by or driving by. And it's a really great thing to get for media's attention because they love taking pictures and posting them online or in a newspaper. So your large visuals should convey your core thought or what your message is of your campaign. So for example, up on the PowerPoint for our fridge campaign, our main icon was a fridge, and we made this out of, you guessed it, a fridge box. And on the next one, we had a TV, and we made this out of a TV box. And this next one is a medicine cabinet, which we made just out of a big cardboard box. And then you can see on the inside of it, there are small pill bottles, and we made these out of just cement tubes that we picked up at Home Depot and slapped some orange paint on it.
So as you saw, large visuals are very important to a rally, but small visuals are just as important. So during rallies, we often use small poster-sized visuals because they help convey information and they're used when talking to pedestrians. So as you can see up on the PowerPoint, we have these examples from our campaign against candy flavoring and tobacco, and we took actual samples of various candy-flavored products that we bought locally. And this next example is from our fridge campaign, and we made this small visual to look like a milk carton. And this final example is from our RX abuse campaign, and our campaign was encouraging parents to lock up their prescription drugs, so on the poster there is an actual prescription pill lockbox.
Posters are also another great way to make your event highly visual. They're very simple to make, inexpensive, and very easy to display. However, there's a couple things that you should remember while making them to make sure that they are effective in getting your message out.
The first thing that you should keep in mind is that the message that's going on your poster is clear. So you can see two mock posters up on the PowerPoint. One of them says cigarettes equals poison, and the other one says poisons kill. So you really have to think here, if you're a person driving by or walking by, which one is going to give the clearer message on what your rally is about. And in this case, it would be cigarettes equal poison, not poisons kill, because poisons kill, you don't really know what poisons they're talking about, and you don't know why either. And in this one, again, you can see a clear message on the right with the climate change costs lives, because it's super easy to understand. But on the left, you would have to read that for a really long time, and even then, it doesn't really make sense.
Another thing to keep in mind is that your message should be concise, or be very short, yet still make sense to the reader. So, for example, you can see a mock-up of a poster on the PowerPoint that says, "Secondhand smoke kills." And while this is only 4 words long, it still gets your message clearly and concisely out to the public without too many questions being asked or people being confused. Also on here, 3 words, "Alcohol, 14 million addicted," also gets the same idea out, very impactful, but small, neat, and 3 words.
The next thing you want to keep in mind is that your message that's on your poster, so now that you have the words and you're trying to transfer them onto the poster, you really want to make sure that is neat and organized. So we recommend, if you're working with younger students who may have messy handwriting, to really pencil outline them first. This is so that when people are driving by, they have a clear idea of what your rally is about, and also so it looks neat and it's not super messy, because what you're projecting out to the public is how they're going to view your group.
You also want to make sure you watch your font. You want to use bold, wide letters. These should be readable from a 50 to 75-foot distance even, because cars driving by will not be directly up next to them. You also want to make sure that the letters don't touch each other, because while bubble letters can sometimes be interesting, this isn't a good time for them, because if they do touch each other, they get all cluttered, it's very hard to read, and if people can't read your poster, they can't understand your message.
The next part is my personal favorite part, which is color. So color is extremely important because it can draw attention towards your rally, but you have to keep in mind it can also take away attention from your rally if it's overdone. So our rule of thumb is don't overdo it. Use maybe 2 to maybe 3 colors on your poster. So as you can see up on the PowerPoint again, we have these same 2 posters, and you can see that the one on the right with 2 simple colors looks really neat, where the one on the left, it has a bunch of different colors and it's really cluttered and it's too distracting. Also, when using color, you want to keep in mind the color of your board and the marker that you're using, because these 2 colors should contrast. So if you're using a white poster board, you wouldn't want to write in a yellow marker, because then they wouldn't be able to see it and therefore they wouldn't get your messages. So up on the PowerPoint, as you can see, after you have a good message on your poster, good color, contrast, and font, you have a perfectly made poster.
Another thing you can do with posters, however, is that you can use multiple posters to form a sentence, word, or a thought. For example, you can see we use 3 posters here to say "Don't target youth" for our flavored tobacco project, letting people know of how that wasn't okay. And then also, your kid's closest dealer is behind the mirror. This one's a bit longer, as you can tell, but these serve as a really good eye-catching way of getting your message out at your demonstration.
So another way you can make your demonstration highly visual is by using costumes as visuals. So up on the PowerPoint, as you can see, at one of our anti-tobacco campaigns, we had these Marlboro box costumes. In another one of our anti-tobacco campaigns, we used painters' suits as mock hazmat suits. And in our zombie project, we dressed up as zombies to promote Drug Take Back Day. And in our RX abuse campaign, we had this pill bottle costume, which was made out of orange towels and hula hoops. So as you can see, costumes can be very visual and creative, but they can also capture attention. So our prescription pill bottle costume showed up in 2 out of 3 pictures in the front page of our local newspaper when they covered our rally. So all of these things that we're talking about, makes your demonstration more visual. And if it's more visual, you get more press coverage. And if you get more press coverage, you get more people that know about your message.
So another way to grab people's attention during demonstrations is to use chants. And chants are really great because they attract attention and they convey your core message. And they're really great, especially with us when we work with 5th or 6th graders, because they keep everyone energized and it involves everyone. So when you're doing a chant, it should be short, simple, rhythmic, and easy for everyone to remember. So when we're doing a demonstration, we usually come up with 3 or 4 different chants. You can see 2 of them up here from one of our zombie projects. And when we're doing each individual chant, we want to repeat it 3 times so that everyone who's doing the chant knows when to stop. So right now, I think we're going to play you an audio of one of these chants at our zombie project event.
So, palm cards are another great way of getting your message out to the public. For those of you who don't know, these are small printed either 3x5 or 4x6 cards that you can see an example of on the screen. They're usually double-sided. Those would be 2 sides of the same card. And these usually identify your problem and your goal, explain your position, provide facts about the issue you're talking on, suggest solutions to it, and make it so the receiving public leaves with your core message and information for later reference, reinforcement, and reminder of what went on that day.
So when we do a palm card team, it's usually a 3-person team. So this means that not everyone has to remember every single detail about the campaign, and it puts pressure not on 1 person, but instead on 3 people, which can make the people who are in the palm card team way more comfortable with going up and talking to people. This also makes it easier since each person has a defined role, and we're going to kind of go over those roles now.
So the 3-person approach is really easy because it makes substituting students in and out easier, and it takes the pressure off of 1 person.
So the first person in a palm card team is the contactor, and this is the person that's going to make the initial eye contact and really grab in someone's attention. And when you're the contactor, you're just going to say something simple like, "Hi, would you like to know what we're doing today?"
The second person is the messenger. Now, if the pedestrian stops and expresses interest, this person then explains the event, your message, and why it's important. They say as much as possible that they can remember, and then number 3 takes over.
So this 3rd person is called the sweeper. Now they have the luxury of kind of sitting back and listening and watching to what the other 2 people have said. Now the 3rd person kind of sweeps up any unclear messages or any other facts that were missed. This person is usually also the one who hands the palm card, and the most important thing about the sweeper is they always have to say something, whether that be a statistic on whatever campaign you're working with, or just a friendly fact.
Then number 1 closes the contact by asking if the person has any questions, which, if they do, any member of the palm card team can answer any questions asked. They tell the person who the group is or remind them if it's already been said, and thank them for spending their time in their day for speaking with you.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over to live view, and we're going to kind of demonstrate how to do a proper 3-person palm card team. So you'll see us here in a minute.
You should at least.
And this might take just a couple of seconds. Okay, hi guys, welcome to Live View. My name's Izzy, and I'm going to kind of go over the parts that we have assigned. So Emma, who you'll see in a minute, is our pedestrian. We have Stephanie acting as the contactor. I will be the messenger, and Sarah will be the sweeper. So we're using the Fridge campaign to demonstrate this palm card team.
Hi, would you like to know what we're doing today?
Sure.
Hi, we're members of Dover Youth Youth, and today we're conducting our rally on the Fridge campaign. So the Fridge campaign kind of goes over how your kid's next drink could be right next to the milk, and we're just encouraging parents to lock their liquor.
So we did a survey at Dover High School, and we found that a kid's number one place that they get their first drink of alcohol is from their home or a home of a friend. So here we have a palm card here, if you'd like some more information.
Do you have any questions today?
No, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you for your time.
Have a
Have a
good
great
day.
day.
you.
All right, so that's how you do a proper 3-person palm card team. And now we're going to kind of go over some don'ts when palm carding. So the first one we're going to go over is we're going to go over to not block the sidewalk and how not to do this.
Hi, would you like to know what we're doing today?
No, I really have to go.
No, it's really important. Trust
No,
me.
I'm sorry.
All right, so that's a definite don't because it's important to understand that some people may just not have the time or not be interested into what you're saying, and that's totally fine. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate how not to arm bar.
Hi, would you like to know what we're doing today?
I'm really sorry. I have to go.
Oh, you sure? It's
I'm really
it's
sure.
really
Would
important.
you like a palm card?
No, I'm sorry.
All right, again, a definite no when palm carding. One more is you don't want to shove a palm card in their face or touch them in any way.
Hi, would you like to know what we're doing
No.
today? Here, have a palm card.
Not really. Thank you.
All right, exactly. So those were some definite don'ts when palm carding. Again, that might have been a little bit silly, but it's important to understand that, again, not everyone is going to be interested, and that's totally fine.
So another key part in having a rally is organizing a press conference. So when you have a large group of kids out demonstrating, the media is going to want to get involved. And the best way to do this is to create a press team to deliver a press conference. So 2 to 4 students who volunteered to prepare and deliver the press release is a press team.
So the next thing you want to do is prepare a written media notification, and this can just be a simple one-page document that you email to the press, and it just tells them what they're going to be attending, when it is, and just an overview of what you're going to be talking about.
So once you do that, you're going to want to write the press release that you're going to deliver to the press.
Then you're going to want to create a press packet, and again, this is pretty simple. Just put it in a 2-pocket folder, put in any palm cards you're using, any statistics, and again, just make it an overview of what's going on.
So once you write the press release and once you get a team together and you do all of those steps, you're going to want to get your team together to rehearse. So when a team is rehearsing, the students usually divide up who is reading what paragraph, and once they do that, they can deliver their press release to the group, and the group can ask them a couple questions that can prepare them for actual questions that the press might ask. And this rehearsal also includes who's holding what visuals and who's saying what when.
So as some final thoughts, right before the kickoff event, you want to make sure you have prepared and practiced enough. Practicing palm carding, reading and delivering your press release, chants, and you also want to make sure you have prepared who's going to do what job, because student leaders can run assignment changes, lead chants, and overall run the entirety of the event, while adults can kind of just step in when it's really needed when there's a major problem.
All right, I know we just threw a lot of information at you right there, and now what we're going to do to make sure that this makes a little bit more sense is we're going to make this into one of our campaigns. So we're going to show you an example of our Fridge campaign. So our Fridge campaign was launched in 2007, and elements of it are still being used today.
So the campaign was the result of an in-school written survey that we gave our local high school that 1,600 students did in grades 9 through 12, and they were asked a simple question. If they've ever had alcohol, what was the first source of alcohol the first few times they drank? The number one answer was taking it from their home or the home of a friend of theirs. So we thought this was a bit of a problem.
So after we gathered in this information, we decided that our main goal of this campaign was going to be to reduce underage drinking.
So our thought was, if we could get parents to control the alcohol in their own homes better, it could reduce access among the young kids that have fewer sources to get it from. Because most likely 7th graders won't be going to frat parties.
In this case, our message was mostly targeted at parents. So parents were our target audience.
So then we held our kickoff demonstration that you'll see right here. We had also, along with the kickoff demonstration, radio PSAs on the topics. We had a broadcast TV spot that aired during the commercial breaks of Ellen. We had on-air visits to radio stations to talk about ideas, and we also held presentations for parents in the area. We also did a sticker shock using our own fancy little sticker that you can see up there for that idea, and then we also had an activism event.
So our activism event, or our kickoff event for the Fridge campaign, was huge. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different images, and on the next slide, you can see we have the posters that were made for it. Again, some more posters, and as you can see, that font and the messages were perfectly clear. We also had large visuals, such as our fridge that we made. We also had a milk carton for our smaller visuals, as well as informational posters. And we also did palm card teams, similarly to the ones that we just demonstrated. And then we had our press conference. So we used all of those different steps in inviting the press and then creating a press packet. And you can see those are our students talking to the press right there. And this got great coverage, and it really raised awareness in our community.
So I had someone asking me this morning about some of the work we do on the opioid issue. So I wanted to throw in one more example real quick for you guys. And this is our Anyone, Anytime campaign. So our inspiration for this campaign was actually a statewide media campaign. So there was another organization that came out with this message, but we really thought that it emphasized the message that we wanted to get across. So we used the same theme and their same core messages and turned it into a rally or demonstration. So the core messages of the campaign were really simple. Anyone can experience addiction, anyone can ask for help, anyone can recover, and anyone could save a life. So those were the 4 messages that we emphasized in this rally. So you can see the picture of all of the students. We had 50 students in downtown Dover. Some of them had individual letters spelling out the Anyone, Anytime campaign, while others had smaller posters emphasizing some of those core messages. They had chants. They were lined up with their posters right across the street. They had small visuals, and we actually, with those small visuals, took some of the print media campaign messages and designs that the state had and put them on to sort of bring that personal story to the small visuals and use that as a discussion point. We also did some different unique things with this where we asked the public, who is their anyone? So we cut out hand prints and had individuals write who their anyone was. So who do you know that has experienced addiction? Who do you know that's in recovery? To really emphasize that this opioid crisis and this addiction crisis is something that's impacting a wide variety of people and a lot of people in our community. So we had those display tables. We also had other organizations working on providing treatment and recovery resources. So there were informational tables throughout the event. And we turned it into a fun musical event. So after the rally and the chanting and everything, we were right down in our local park and had some live music and really promoted that people can come together, that they can explore these different resources that are available in our community. And of course, we had a press conference. The students presented about the campaign and their rally, and from that press conference, we got some great media attention and we're on the front page of our local newspaper. So this was a great example of how we used a state campaign to emphasize the opioid issue and really got good media attention that way.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope that this webinar really helped you guys out for kind of understanding what a rally is and how to conduct one.
So the way that we taught today's webinar was really emphasizing the way that we teach the students that we work with. So some of the things might be really simple, common sense, not using a yellow marker on a white poster board, but these are all of the things that we need to emphasize when we're working with our students. So it was a great intro for you guys, but also a really good example of how you can teach how to conduct rallies to students that you might be working with.
All right, now if you guys have any questions, we're kind of opening that up. So use the chat feature and you can ask us anything, whether that's about one of our campaigns, about what we just talked about, like rallies, general rally questions, or even about our own youth group.
So I've got a question here from somebody directed to the students, and it's asking, what is your favorite part about doing a rally?
My favorite part about doing the rally is just the whole prep. For a lot of us, we are the youth staff at the camp, so we do get to put together a lot of it, and it just comes together very well.
Okay, does anybody else want to answer that?
Stephanie.
I think probably one of my favorite parts is the just kind of togetherness and how we're able to like band so many people together on one issue that affects our community and try to make a difference the best we can.
And I think my favorite part is writing the chants. I know last year I had the opportunity to work with one of our advisors, Vicki, on that. And it was really fun and it was really creative, and that's one of my favorite parts about it.
So a follow-up question to that is, when you do your rallies and youth to youth, what age group is out there doing the rally?
5th graders.
Well, we have a wide range, including 5th graders. It goes all the way up to high school. I know we're all involved in the rally. It really depends on the age, how they're involved. The younger students are obviously kind of just learning how to do it, so they're usually holding up posters, chanting a lot. They help make the posters, whereas the older students, like the high schoolers like us, we work more behind the scenes with creating the chants, making the outlines for the posters, and overall getting prepared for the campaign, as well as being in charge of the students while we're out there.
Okay, we've got another question coming in. Have you ever experienced a rally that had negative response?
Well, I think every single time we have a rally, we have some negative response, but we really try not to let that bother us because everyone has different opinions, and we really respect that as a group. What we believe is what we believe, and that's kind of our message that we send out to the public.
One rally that we did do that had a surprising amount of backlash from the public was we did one on e-cigarettes. And there was a lot of people that didn't really understand exactly where we were coming from and were just kind of against the whole idea and didn't see anything wrong with it. And that's perfectly acceptable. We still got our message out to the public, and that was what was important.
The main source of backlash for that was because we were going after especially how e-cigarettes have so many flavors now that are candy flavors, which was similar to our candy flavoring for tobacco. We did a similar campaign for e-cigarettes.
Okay. Another viewer wants to know how old you guys are.
All right. Do you want to start with Sarah?
I'm 17. I'm a senior.
I'm 15, turning 16.
I'm 16. I'm a junior.
I'm 15. I'm a sophomore.
And how long have you guys been in youth to youth?
7 years. No. 6 years. Sorry.
This is my 4th year.
6 years.
This is my 5th year.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope this really helped, as we said before. And keep in mind, we have more webinars coming up.
So in wrapping up, I just want to go over a couple things on what to expect after the webinar. Like I said earlier, we had to cut some of the videos out, so we'll be uploading them to our website. You'll receive an email sometime this afternoon with a link to see all of the videos. We're going to upload some additional resources such as sample palm cards and sample chants to the website, so you'll get a link to access all of that information. We'll also share the PowerPoint so that you can use this as a way to train your students back in your community, and we'll send out a certificate of attendance as well. So expect to hear more from us later this afternoon and access all of those resources. We have our next webinar on Valentine's Day, so we hope you join us on February 14th for Counter Advertising, where we'll talk about how the students counteract the alcohol industry's messages. And lastly, please reach out to us. Our contact information will be up on the website. It'll be included in the email. So call us, email us, let us know if you have any questions or if there's any additional resources that you want from us.